What's going on, guys? John Bliss here with the Wasatch Way. My co-host Jeremy Ostman, the host with the most. He, to his left-hand side, is Andrew Mines with the Mountainside BBQ cleaning.
Good evening.
We're ridiculously excited to have you here, sir. I'm just kind of focusing on a few other things here. Andrew Mines, Mountainside BBQ cleaning. Let's switch over to this and show everybody who you are and where you're from. Serving the Heber City, Park City, and Salt Lake area. Phone number, email. You can always go to mountainsidebarbecuecleaning.com. All right, we are up and rolling. If you guys are here, say hi in the chat. Make sure that you share our streams. Help us grow. We're trying to make this a little bit of a larger streaming just so we can reach more people and bring out more. Like yesterday, we had the food pantry on. That was a really important episode for us to be able to share with the community how you can better benefit the actual community. So Andrew, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
I know that congratulations on the new baby.
Appreciate it.
We feel really privileged with you taking time away from the family to be here.
Nice to get out of the house.
So are you getting sleep?
For the most part, yeah. It's the first week obviously was pretty wild, but yeah, we're waking up I think now 2-3 times a night, which is still crazy, but much easier than what it was. And everyone says it gets easier. So
It does.
fingers crossed.
It does. Once you start getting full night's sleep, it gets a lot easier. And then they start talking.
There you go.
And then they turn 18 and start dating, and
And
then
I got more worries. They start driving. And yeah, it's fun though. Having a kid is something I've wanted for a while. Here we are. Bennett is 6 weeks old now, and I couldn't imagine life without him already. So it's a good feeling.
That's incredible, man. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I was searching for a picture of you to use for that ad that we popped up there. And every picture you have your wife with you.
Yeah.
And that made my heart just
Yep.
melt. Like, you guys are incredible. I
Yeah.
love it. So Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get to the Heber Valley, and what was it like bringing your business here?
Okay, so I guess we'll start with a lot of people are going to judge me, but hey, I'm originally from Southern California. My wife and I got married at Sundance back in 2019. We drove through Heber to Park City to where her parents have a home, and driving through Heber, I'm like, wow, this is a really cool town. We got to stop back by here eventually. And about a year or two later, we came back and just started looking at real estate for fun. And 6 months later in California, I just got tired of it. I got tired of the grind and everything about California other than the weather. I just said, we got to get out of here. And I'm willing to give up my business there to then restart it out here at whatever it takes. And of course, when you've got this vision, you've got some ups and downs in your head, but we moved here in July of 2022. So it's mostly in the middle of my summer season of barbecue cleaning. And I thought, you know what, hopefully I can knock quite a few out before winter, and which I did. Winter came and everyone said, Heber snow, it gets crazy, but not anything you can't handle. Winter of 22, 23, it was like, what? Like, what do you guys call crazy? And that was an eye opener. It definitely put me to put me to a test of what could you handle and what couldn't you handle.
Right.
Being inside was something I wasn't used to doing. I was always I was working 6 days a week in Southern California. Here, I was just trying to figure out something to do while it was snowing. I was shoveling snow on neighbors' porches just to do something. And everyone that I spoke to, whether it was family, friends from back home, they just said, dude, you're going to be okay. It will get better. And spring of the following year of 2023, the phone starts ringing. I started getting busier going into summer, and now I'm it's somewhat consistent. The one thing that really helped me was I joined the Chamber of Commerce the minute I moved here, just because
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know anybody as far as business, but I also don't have any friends here. If I get anything from the Chamber of Commerce, whether it's friends or business perspective, that would be awesome. My wife's unloading boxes. I'm at Red Ledges at like a cocktail hour they had,
Mhm.
meeting people the weekend we moved here. And after that, I started getting phone calls of, hey, let's meet up again. Let's do this. Let's do that. There's ribbon cuttings coming up. You want to go to that? I thought, yeah, let's do it. And it's wild how much, and nobody will understand it unless you actually go through it. But the small community of what Heber is, people talk, people care about one another.
Yeah.
It's incredible on how, you go to a small business that's doing a ribbon cutting and 30 people show up and you're like, oh, wow. Like the town really cares
Mhm.
about these individuals and or this up and coming business. And that really helped out. People calling and checking in. Hey, how's business? What could we do to help you with business? And it's like, what? I'm not used to, I'm used to the rat race of everybody just saying, hey, it's Monday through Friday. Don't call me until, Saturday morning. And then, back on Monday, we're busy again. We're here. It's like, I could literally call either one of you guys and just be like, hey, what are you guys doing? Like,
Yeah.
which is cool. And there's a handful of people in town that I can do that with. So yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine. I look back at 2022 winter and just think like, oh my God, I made it out alive. But now it's just like, I'm glad I went through that situation because it makes me appreciate these times now of, you know what, if I got hard times coming, I got people I can call.
Yeah.
They'll walk me through it
Yep.
and remind me that, it's going to be okay.
Let's talk barbecue cleaning for a minute, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Why on earth did you choose barbecue cleaning?
So in 2009, in the community that we lived in Southern California called Ladera Ranch, my parents had our family home was there, and the barbecue that my parents had was a built-in.
Okay.
And my dad goes, this thing's starting to get disgusting. Most of it doesn't even work. I don't know what to do. And so we just went online, and a gentleman about 60 miles away said, I don't service your area, but I'm going to my in-laws' house this upcoming weekend. I'll tell you what, I'll leave early, clean your barbecue, and then I'll be on my way to their place. And I was off of work that day. At that time, I was working for Marriott Hotels, and I was actually pursuing hospitality school at that point. And I just remember looking in the backyard thinking, like, we live in Orange County. The weather's always beautiful. The disposable income is pretty high there. Why isn't there somebody? Why isn't there somebody out here that does this? Like, this is insane. So my parents and I started talking. My dad said, you know what, if you're up for it, I'll help you out. Let's get this rolling. And in August of 2010, I started the barbecue cleaning business there. And I was working the early shift at the hotel. And in the afternoon, I'd run home, grab my work trailer and my truck, and I'd work until it got dark. I didn't really have a life from the age of 22 until, not long ago. And so after a while, I told the hotel thanks, but I found what I really love, and it was for working for myself. Fast forward to 2021, which was my last full year of living and working in California, and I was doing 600 invoices that year.
Yeah.
And so it caught up. There's things that living there, I wish I would have kind of done, and that would have been hiring somebody. But I was so into making sure it was done the way I wanted to. And the trust, I think I should have been a little bit more lenient with people of, they're there to get paid. Most of the time, people don't want to lose their job over a dumb mistake. So I ended up selling a portion of that business in 2022 when we moved here and started it back up out here. Am I at 600 jobs out here? Definitely not. But I'm with my wife and our family, our extended family out here much more than I was in California. I was working Monday through Saturday. Sundays I'd be off and just tired. Really didn't want to do much. And like I said earlier, it's just the community. We love just going out and doing stuff.
Yeah.
And it's it's a fun business. You know, there's people out there that just say, I'll just buy a new barbecue, beat it up in 5-10 years, and throw it away and start over, which yes, there are those barbecues out there, the freestanding cheap barbecues. But majority of Park City, Red Ledges, even here in Heber, a lot of people have these built-ins that range anywhere from, they can go from $1,500 to $10,000.
Yeah.
And I've seen crazy things. I've seen rats, mice, snakes inside the bottom of grills. So it's health reasons why you should have your barbecue clean. And it's also an investment, you know, keep up with it and it will last many years. And it's just, people just laugh. They're like, excuse me, what do you do for a living? It's like, I clean barbecues.
When I met you, you're like, I do Mountainside BBQ clean. I'm like,
What?
cleans their barbecues?
Yeah.
So, I mean, just like you said, like I grew up, my dad would buy a grill. We would sometimes clean it and it would last us 4 or 5 years. The minute something stopped working, even if it was like a small thing, it was like, oh, time to get a new one.
Yep.
Here, I'm going to pass this on to John. John can use 3 burners. I'm going to
Yeah.
buy a new one with
That's-
4.
is that it?
Yep.
But when I moved out here and you start upgrading to the nicer smokers
Yep.
and things like that. Like I've got a smoker that I wouldn't give up for the world. Like I love my smoker.
Yeah.
Thanks to this
Yeah.
guy.
So
You run
I
into those
have
things.
people ask, or I've had people ask, everybody, it's like a grill, like in your house, it's seasoned. Isn't cooking a bunch of meat on it just kind of season it?
To an extent, it is. Like if you've got the traditional barbecue with the cooking grates, whether it's cast iron, stainless, those, yeah, the belief is like, oh, but it's seasoned. But at the same time, all that gunk and everything, all the soot on the bottom or in the hood, that all gets into your burners and everything. And then your burners are
Stop
working at 50%.
Right.
You're going through propane or it's not lighting properly.
Or you started on fire 1,000 times.
Yeah, exactly. Or, you know, I go to the house where they're clicking the starter button the minute I get there to show me the issue and the hood's closed, all the knobs are in high, and I'm like, whoa. That's not what you're doing. Like, you're going to be losing eyebrows here in a minute. But
That's funny.
That's
Yeah.
why you have a smoker and not a conventional click.
Yeah.
Those smokers can pop too.
Oh, yeah.
If so, when the smoker starts, if there's too much pellets, the igniter rod's not coming out. It gets a really thick smoke, and people like record their phones. I've seen them
It's
a lot,
wild.
and all of a sudden it goes woof, and like a
Exactly.
big flame shoots. That scared the hell out of me the first time it happened to me. But yeah, no, I wish my mom and dad were on here because I went up to their house and they said, "Well, we're gonna cook a pizza on our smoker." I was like, perfect, put it up to 300, 325 is what I do on mine.
Mhm.
But my dad hadn't cleaned it in, probably years.
Ever.
Mhm.
And I cranked it up to 300 and all of a sudden like smoke is just billowing from it. I'm like, is that normal? No. Open it up and it's on fire. I felt like a National Lampoon's
Oh,
family
yeah.
vacation.
Yep.
We're like rushing, getting the plates out and turning it all off. And that was, it's important to clean it up, man. You
Yeah.
burn down the house that way.
Oh yeah, and I mean, in California near the beach, you're dealing with rust.
Yeah.
The rodents out there, I feel like are 10 times worse than here, and I would scream in people's backyards. I'm deathly afraid of rats and mice.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
fear factor, I would lose out. I'd be going home, and but yeah, I'd see that, but it's the vacation homes out here, the Airbnbs, where especially the Airbnbs where it's just nightly rentals, you know, people are just there to throw the meat on there. They're not going to clean it up
Yeah.
No,
afterwards.
why
And
would
that's
I?
when it gets dangerous, is that, 6 months worth of Airbnb rentals. And then that sixth couple that go and start it, that's when you have the issues. And that's what I always like to tell people too, is like, even if you don't want your grill clean, but it's acting funky or you're smelling something odd, you can always feel free to give me a call. I love coming out, chatting with people on what to do with the grill, what not to do, how to keep your grill in perfect shape throughout the year. And at the end of the day, most important, we got to be safe. For how much we all love to grill, smoke meat and all that, I want to be able to enjoy that piece of meat at the end of the day and not end up in the hospital or my house is on fire. The years ago, right before summer, there was always an episode on, I think it was Dateline or 2020, and it was those bristle brushes.
Yeah.
People are using them,
Yep.
and they go down to the bare metal, and you don't realize that they're stuck on the grate because your stainless steel grate has a stainless steel bristle. You go flip the piece of meat, you digest that in your burger, your steak, and all that, and that can get scary. So it's like just maintenance on grills, whether you have me do it or I show you like little things to do, is important. But like I said, it's always safety. I don't want people to say, you know, it costs too much, or we don't have the money to spend right now on somebody to come out and take care of this problem. Your problem is only going to get bigger.
Yeah, it's going to compound.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
how often do you recommend cleaning a barbecue grill, like a good cleaning?
So like if you're using, which most people out here are, I'll tell you one thing, you guys aren't afraid to barbecue in the snow.
No, not at all.
And I'm starting to want to do that. But you know, if people are barbecuing year round out here 2-3 times a week, I say once a year. If you're doing anything less than that, you could probably get away with 1.5 years, 2 years. One thing I like to tell people is, you know, I get the call of, hey, this barbecue's been sitting on the side of the house for 5 years covered. We're going to start using it. What should we do? Well, let's go through it, because again, there's probably something living in it. Your gas line, whether it's propane or natural gas, those can go
Probably
funky
brittle.
after a while. Exactly. And it's like whether you use it every day or hardly ever, 1 year to every 2 years, I always like to recommend people either get it checked out or do a full cleaning. And as far as people always wonder, like, do you just come over with a spray bottle and paper towels? Like, I have an enclosed trailer with a dip tank in it. Everything goes in there. It's heated. Your cooking grades, flame tamers, and everything. And then I'm actually in the unit itself, making sure the burners are all unclogged. It's working properly, scrubbing the inside. Whole process takes anywhere from about 2.5, maybe 3 hours from start to finish. So I like to be as thorough as possible. And
you also do repairs, right? Like
correct.
Thanksgiving is coming up. Somebody wants to smoke their turkey and realize that it's not working right. You can go diagnose, find the parts, whether that's OEM or aftermarket, depending on what they want, and just I love that.
And the one thing I like to tell people is, and it happens every year right before 4th of July, try not to call me on July 3rd. Call me the day before Thanksgiving, because I can't make parts just randomly appear.
And
it takes a minute.
It's, you know, check it out. If you know that your wife wants everybody coming over to your house for 4th of July or Thanksgiving and you're using the grill or smoker, call me a week or 2 before, and I'll come out and we'll get that thing ready to go.
Or kind of like for my business, it's preventative maintenance.
Exactly.
Don't call when it gets cold.
Exactly.
Let's get you on the schedule maybe, you know, a few weeks before.
Exactly.
And get it taken care of.
Megan Bliss and Mike Gardner popped on to say hello.
Hello.
So before we move in, I'm going to switch back over to this just to show you guys. Andrew explains what he did. Mountainside BBQ Cleaning. There's the phone number, mountainsidebbqcleaning.com. And what I want to do also is I want to kind of go back into, let's make a more in-depth conversation. What is it like having a business in the Heber Valley? What works for you? And you know, what do you find works for you? What do you find doesn't work for you? As far as like getting business, marketing, networking, things like that.
So what gets business for me is just being involved in the community.
Okay.
like I said earlier, whether it's the chamber, being a part of their events, or just stopping by a local business and chatting with them. Whether you're there for lunch, you're there to, get your car cleaned, for instance, whether you're at Swags or you want to go gun shopping and you're at OPSEC. It's just go in there, introduce yourself to another business owner, get chatting. Most of the time, you're probably going to have something in common with them.
Yeah.
And just be friendly in the community. Don't be afraid to go outside. And, Facebook, Instagram, and all that, those work great. But being face to face with somebody, you never know. You guys might have a mutual friend, or, somebody, especially in a business like mine, somebody's like, wait, what? Like barbecue cleaning? Explain this to me. And, I could post before and after photos online all day, but until someone actually sees that, like, oh, okay, cool. Like, this is where he was, this is where he is, this is how long he's been doing it. That usually helps out a lot.
24 years, yeah?
No, coming up on 16 years.
My math. I went to school in Idaho.
Yeah.
One potato,
They
two
had
potato.
24 potato. But yeah, just being involved in a community like this, where it's crazy, where my wife and I will either be at dinner or at the grocery store, and she works from home, so she kind of is inside all the time, and we'll be out and people will be like, oh, hey, what's up, Andrew, and this and that. And she's just like, how do you know them? How do you know this person and all that? And it's kind of cool. And people around town, and even my in-laws, they always call me mayor.
Yeah.
I always, like, if a business in town says, come watch paint dry on our wall, I'll be there. Just because I'm like, okay, I'll stop by.
I'll stop by.
Yeah. And so being involved in community is huge, in my belief. Things that I'm not big on necessarily, but it does work for others, is doing advertisements in like the newspaper or magazines. If that works great for you, awesome. Me personally, I get the magazine in the mail, I might skim through it, and then I'll end up losing it by the time I need that specific person. So that's when I would hop on Facebook. And then, like I said, in a community like this, you will get an answer within 5 minutes of, hey, anybody know a good person in this industry? Anybody know a good person doing this? And somebody or a dozen individuals will say, call this person and all that. So which is kind of cool, just because they're not going to refer somebody that does a terrible job.
Right.
So that makes a difference. But yeah, so it's just me personally, just being face to face in the community, no matter what it is, go out, introduce yourself.
Yeah, Jeremy and I've had this conversation quite a bit. Jeremy and I, we love to be able to go on and refer good people. And I mean, just like you, like people that we meet, people that we know, people that we trust, that the people of the community aren't going to get taken advantage of. We love being able to refer those people.
Yeah.
Being business owners ourselves, Jeremy and I have talked quite a bit about, I was working for Jeremy when Jeremy went to this business development program. And it was pretty incredible to watch, like the big tools they wanted to hand down and how he wanted to grow and expand. And, he got really gung ho. And then there was like this moment that Jeremy kind of realized,
I was drinking from a fire hose. Dude, you would go out and it would be, we have this for you. And you'd come back and they would go, we want these 5 items done in the next 2 weeks. And I'm like, I'm running a business.
Yeah.
I don't have time to, a 90-day plan. A 90-day plan is important. I mean, we're learning that,
Yeah. And like I said, if it works for this person, awesome. If that's what gets you to the next level, awesome. If it makes more sense for you to go this direction, even better. I guess it all depends on, the type of business you're in. If you're in the service industry, awesome. If you're, even if you've got a storefront on Main Street, being interactive with people is very important. But then, there are those individuals that, build off of like you're saying,
Yeah.
you know, do these items and
But you got to
You'll
kind of know
succeed.
what you want to do, right?
exactly.
If you want to be a gigantic corporation that has 1 million employees and does a bunch of things, that's great. For me, I love being a mom and pop show.
Yeah.
I love that it's my wife and myself, and we take care of our customers to the best of our ability. We make these personalized friendships. I have a direct line. Like sometimes it's exhausting,
Mhm.
but most times it really fills our cup.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine having 37 employees and not doing the work that I love and doing like letting everybody else do the work that I love. Well, I do the administrative or
Yeah,
behind
sure.
the scenes stuff, right?
Well, and for me, that's what we do. I mean, that's what I like to do. Is it's I have a thumb on my customers. I know what's going on.
For sure.
It's not I'm sitting in an office and somebody's out there. And I think I tell a lot of people this all the time. I'm only as people I hire
Yeah.
and train.
For sure.
So I think we talked about it a little bit. You know, would you rather have 1 or 2 headaches or 30?
Exactly. Yeah. Lose sleep over
Yeah.
30 problems, or, you know, at the end of the day, right now, working for myself, I'm my biggest problem, or my biggest headache, I should say, is, you know, if I make a mistake, I can only blame myself.
Exactly
If
right.
I've got many employees, there's that much more to succeed and build off of. If each employee is making you this much money a day, awesome. And that's why, you know, people, I mean, look at Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Like thousands of employees, and that's
Yeah.
why he is where he is.
That guy's crazy.
But, you know, it's taking that leap, whether you have 2 employees or 100 employees. That's the difference. I mean, I'm not saying you're not going to be successful with being self-employed or having a couple of employees versus a ton, but it's just where would you like, you know, now that I have a child, most importantly to me is when he becomes of age where he's got little league, soccer, whatever sport he decides, I want to make sure I'm there.
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
hey, I'm stuck at the office, I'm stuck on with this issue at work and stuff like that, and make work so important that I forgot that, oh my God, my kid's 12
Yeah.
now. I remember when he was 6 weeks
you,
old.
You come home and he's leaving for prom and he's got the keys to the car and you're
Yeah.
like, wait a second.
Yeah,
when did
you
this happen?"
drive.
I've got 2 kids, and both of them have had a dramatically different experience with having me home growing up. Vivian, you're working $18 to $20 an hour jobs, trying to make it living here in Hebron. I was too stubborn to leave.
Mhm.
And so Vivian really never saw me. Her mom was lucky enough she was sweet enough, kind enough, and
Lucky enough, I like
amazing and
that.
perfect. And I was lucky to have her because she would go to all the dance things and go to all the school
Yeah.
things while I worked. And I'd come home and I'd be covered in grease and tired and want to go home and go to bed and didn't want to deal with anything. After doing what we do now, we both show up for things and her face
Yeah.
lights up.
Yeah.
But my youngest daughter has us home all the time and she's spoiled as shit now.
Yeah.
She thinks that she's
Yep.
the boss of the house,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we're always there for her.
Oh, we know she's the boss of the house.
Ugh,
That shouldn't be a question.
I'd say she wears the pants, but she hates wearing pants.
Takes after dad.
Yeah. I wouldn't have it any other way. That's
Yeah.
Well, and you know, and kind of back to that a little bit is, you know, with big companies, like I said, I went to, I don't want to say, I guess, a mentoring.
Yeah.
You know, trying to learn how to set my business up because I'm not a business manager. I'll go in the field. I'm not an office guy.
Yeah.
But one of the things is what your definition of happiness is different than your definition of happiness and different than mine. I think we all kind of align
Yeah.
because we are smaller business
For
owners.
sure.
But you look at people that are, I mean, I have a mentor in Salt Lake that runs a $16 million to $20 million HVAC company.
That's
And I'm like, is
wow.
he happy? I think he's happy. I talked to him today and he was on the lower Provo fishing, so he must have been happy today.
He's
So,
doing all right.
but you know, but I think that is true. I see a lot of dads. I mean, I don't have kids, but you watch movies where the dad's on his phone and the kid's batting, and it's just like, yeah, you know, talking. But
There's a lot of that.
I've seen more. I mean, John did work for me, and then when John started to, you know, build his company, I'd be like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm in Mountain America Expo Center, and I just about got in a fight with 5 people, but we've got a dance recital. I'll call you
Yeah.
back.
That parking lot's wild.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
I called him back later and says, do you need bail money?
For
Are
sure.
you okay?
Talking about this, the one person in town, and I always joke with him about I'm going to send him adoption papers because his son is going on his mission here early next year, but would be Rex over at Slacks.
Yeah.
I've never seen him upset, and
No.
he's got quite a few employees.
Yes.
And if there's something that involved an event that involved his family or a friend,
Mhm.
or it's a car show and all of that, he is there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like he'll make sure that Skylar gets out on the lake early in the morning or in the afternoon to practice for a competition that's coming up.
Yeah.
But he'll also make sure that work is getting done at the shop.
Yep.
And all that. And he is probably one of the most easygoing people I've met. But at the same time, it's like I can call him up right now and say, Rex, I need this.
Yeah.
Do you have it? I do. I'll meet you at the shop in 10 minutes.
Yep.
And it's like, wow, okay, cool. And it's,
You get on that man's good side, you are his family.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love it so
Oh, yeah.
much. He's such a good dude.
I mean, I mean, I need my Chevelle done for the car show. It's like a day before. And he said,
Yep.
bring it in.
Yeah,
We'll get it done.
100%.
We'll take care of it.
And it's just like there's somebody that has a business with quite a few employees, and every business, you get crazy days, you get slow days and stuff like that. But it's crazy. He physically is in one place at once, but
Mentally, he's all over.
mentally he's all over it, and things can get done regardless where he is.
Yep.
So it's kind of neat. I look up to him as far as that goes, that he can stay so calm and have so much going on around him and be building a successful business like he is.
Mike Gardner just said, speaking of which, we still have Rex's wakeboard.
Well,
Way to go, Mike. Spill beans.
He won't need it for a couple months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I used to, when I first started my business and I was in that BNI networking group, there were 5 guys that would go down and surf.
Yeah.
They all had boats, but we were surfing in April.
Yeah, see, that's wild.
And I went out and they have I have a dry suit.
Mhm.
I still have the dry suit, but that was kind of cool. For me, it was, I'd go surf, get cold, then I want to go home and go back to bed.
Well, exactly.
But just, I mean, the camaraderie, I mean, I don't want to say I really can't remember when we met. I want to say it was probably when the home expo was going on. It might've been a little bit before
I think a
that,
little bit before, yeah.
but we did, me and, I can't remember, it's Justin that
Used to own-
owns a hardware store on the north end of
Oh,
town.
great guy.
We gave away a smoker,
Yep.
and
The
what do you
guy.
know?
The barbecue
The
guy.
barbecue
was
guy
Yeah.
won the
I
smoker.
love that.
My wife was out of town that weekend for business, and I was all excited about the expo, and I went to the grocery store, bought a bunch of
Yeah.
canned
Food.
food, and I was literally there all day.
You were.
And then I had to go home and feed the dog in the afternoon, and I think it was like 5:30 right before it ended. You guys were going to do the drawing, and I went home and I'm on the phone with my wife, and I just remember being like, something's telling me I just want to go back. Like, I just want to see who's going to win this thing. And I go back, and sure enough, Adam
Mose.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was there, and you had him pull the name out. And I thought he was joking. He calls my name. I'm like, no way. And sure enough,
He goes, yep, it was Andrew Mines. Here's the ticket. It's like,
and I remember the weather was kind of getting a little, it was either raining or we're getting like a snow that night. And I hardly knew any of my neighbors. And I go, how do I get this thing out of the bed of my truck? And like it was later at night. I'm like, I'm not going to call anybody. And I don't know how, but I was able to get that
wrestle it out of the truck.
Yeah. And we use it to this day. And it's that was fun.
So we're hoping we've been a member. We've done the expo. Was it the second year? This will be our third year.
This will be the third year. Yeah.
Yeah. We weren't able to make it. This last year we were on a cruise with some friends.
Hey, can't beat that.
So, but great time. And then I think, I haven't gone to Concert in the Park, but I'm sure a Concert in the Park thing when you were talking about you go to this grocery store and
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
people recognize you. My dad delivered mail in Heber for
Oh.
30 plus years
Yeah.
and still, or does bail bonds. And my stepmom will be with him at the grocery store and some gal that he bailed out will run up and give him a hug. And she's like, who's that?
Or when you
So-
say, I tell my wife, hey, I'm running to the store real quick. I'll be right back. And an hour later, I'm
Yep.
walking through the door and she's just like, I'm not even going to ask where else you went. I just know you probably ran into somebody at the store and
Yep.
you got chatting.
And that's how it was growing up. I mean,
Yeah.
you go to the store and 3 hours later, mom would be
Yeah.
like, dude,
How many people?
we needed those beans 3 hours ago. How many
Yeah,
people
for
did you run
sure.
into? So,
Absolutely.
but there's an awkward pause. I'm sorry.
You know, the other aspect of it is not every business succeeds, which sucks.
Yes.
You know, you reach it to a certain point, and the economy is always up and down. And
For
over
sure.
COVID was really tough on a lot
Yeah.
of
Oh, I
businesses. And it makes you really, it begs the question is, if you couldn't do barbecue cleaning, if something else happened, like how to feed your family, pay the bills, like what if, like, what do you do? What are you willing to do? Like, are you willing to, for me, I hate folding laundry. Laundry is like the bane of my existence, but
Mhm.
if I had to feed my family, I'd do it. And that's
Yeah.
such a first world problem, right? But
Yeah.
we get I mean, what's your take on that?
You know, we talked about it a little bit, and I said, you know, I probably wouldn't go to McDonald's. I was a maintenance manager at McDonald's, and it was like, oh, this sucks. But I should say I've kind of been in this.
Yeah.
We lived in Rifle, Colorado, and my wife was working in an HVAC office, and I was a lead in the field in the '08 crash hit.
Oh, yeah.
And she lost her job. You know, she called me just in tears. She goes, I just got let go. And I'm like, what? And, you know, I mean, we had a contract in a subdivision for 5,000 homes, and that contract stopped.
Oh.
And so we're in Rifle, Colorado. All of our families here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we didn't have kids, or we don't have kids. So we were making money hand over fist.
For sure.
And a few weeks later, I lost my job.
Oh.
I mean, we bought a single wide trailer. We didn't need anything huge, nice. It was just two of us. And anyway, I'm going to say we had Harleys and stuff like that. And I called at the time, it was my brother-in-law, and said, we got to move home. I don't know what to do. We don't have any money. I've got two Harleys, 2 cars. How am I going to get this stuff home? We got a camp trailer. It was a toy hauler.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother-in-law drove his truck down with my mother-in-law, picked my mother-in-law up,
Wow.
drove to Rifle, picked us up. We lived in my wife's grandparents' house for a year. She got on luckily with a medical, a pediatrics doctor here that she'd worked for before. I got on at Home Depot part-time,
Cool.
and I worked at Home Depot. I shouldn't say part-time, it was kind of full-time summer help.
Mm-hmm.
But I got on at Home Depot and I was working 4 or 5 days a week. And then I was working at 7-Eleven. Well, it was Walker's then, at 7-Eleven now. I was working graveyards 3 or 4 nights a week. So I would leave Walker's in the morning at 7, go to Home Depot and work, go back, sleep for 2 hours,
Yeah.
and come back and work.
I mean,
It sucked.
but at that point, it probably showed you what you were capable of doing.
Yep.
Little amount of sleep.
Yep.
What at that point you're kind of thinking, hey, I got to put food on the table for my
Yep.
wife and I got to have a roof over
Yeah.
our head.
I mean,
I got to do something.
we were lucky enough to have Grandma and Grandpa's house that
Correct.
they had passed on. And so that was a little easier. But, you know, even then we were living in Grandma and Grandpa's house and the farm was behind us. I was feeding cows almost every night for my father-in-law because I was just like, I got to do something. I
Yeah,
just
for
can't sit here. I was coming down from Francis, coming down off the hill, and I was headed to Walker's to work, and the front tire of my Jeep came off.
Oh.
Dropped down on the ground, you know, got it stopped and stuff like that. But, you know, I look at it and, you know, I think I know enough, jack of all trades, master of maybe 1 or 2, maybe none.
We're hoping at least one.
At least one.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, there we go. But I mean, I could cut wood, you know, I mean, there's always people that
For
need
sure.
wood,
And
but
I think that's the thing is that I always question is when people say I can't make money. I don't know what to do. And the opportunities are out there. You just got to think of it. Like, what is something that you cannot stand doing? Somebody else out there also hates it just as much as you, or even more, and they're willing to pay somebody to do that. So if you're getting $20 an hour and you're at a low point in your life, or $15 an hour, and you got to make ends meet, the bills are still coming in.
Yep.
You hate doing that by yourself and you're not getting paid
Yep.
to do it, whether, it's laundry or, washing windows or doing whatever.
Shoveling snow.
Even that too.
I mean, that's,
And I learned to like that real quick when I moved here. I had to. But it's just, there's so many opportunities out there that it's if you want to make some extra money, or if that's going to be your main source of income before something else comes along, go walk into a bunch of businesses and say, hey, can I mop your floor? I would do that, and I'm no better than the next guy as far as stuff like that goes. As long as it doesn't include heights. As far as
picking up mice,
or picking up rats or mice. I'm not getting on your roof, because I'm the first guy that will look down and see how high I am.
Yeah.
But I think when people question of like, hey, I want to make extra money, but I'm at this standard. I mean, how bad do you want to make that money?
Yeah.
And I think a little different now in that situation, now that I do have a child.
Yep.
It changes me.
It changes huge, because like right now, literally, I guess if I had to, I would pick up or deal with rats and mice if it came down to it. But other than that, there's really nothing I wouldn't do as far as a job to make extra cash and, make sure the bills, the food, the home we live in still flow.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about living in the community here, though. There's plenty of opportunities, and there's plenty of money to be made if you can get out there and get after
For
it.
sure.
You're not going to make a lot of money sitting from the couch.
And especially, I mean, if you have an idea, I mean,
there's a million people out here that can help you develop those ideas.
call
Absolutely.
John, call me, call you, call Rec, call somebody and say, hey, I got an idea.
Yeah.
I might need a little starting capital. I mean, it was a little different for me. I just started.
Yeah.
I was working for somebody and started doing it on the side. And then eventually my wife, being as smart as she is, says, why don't you start your own company? You're driving to Salt Lake every day and you're coming back doing 4 hours at night.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was any way in the world.
If I could, there's more people out there than I could count on both hands that were back in California when I told them, hey, I'm going to start this barbecue cleaning business. And they laughed and said, good luck. What's going to be your next thing you're going to do if that doesn't work out? And in the in the first 10 months or so, when it was like kind of
Sketchy.
rocky, I'm like, no, you know what? Those people that were doubting me, no, they're not winning on this one.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to work that much harder. And then sure enough, it was just like, there was a point where I was making more money and I had more freedom than some of my friends that went to college for 4 years, had debt to pay back, and got into a career that they can't stand to this day. And
they're stuck.
Yeah, they're stuck in the location that they live, where I was fortunate enough to be able to, set the business aside and say, what's more important, staying here and not being as happy as my wife and I could be, or moving elsewhere and doing the things we love.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we're only here once, in my opinion, and I'm not going to let a job or a location affect me.
Yeah.
So just say, if you guys ever get a chance and I'm not around, ask Anna how many jobs I had the first year we were married.
Yeah.
There's not enough fingers and toes on the kids. and if she's listening, she'll attest to that, because I did everything. I'd work, but I had friends. I got married a little bit later. I had friends that were, while I was working, they were out playing, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
It sucked. I was working and I didn't want to work. I'll bet 30, 40 jobs probably would be low count. But I started working for Standard Plumbing Supply, and I was making $8.50 an hour
Wow.
That's wild
20 some
to
odd
think
years
about.
ago.
Yeah.
And
That's wild to think
the
about.
manager said, you learn how to run the counter by yourself and give you a 50-cent raise. And I was like, really?
Wow.
So I learned the counter. As soon as you can work a Saturday by yourself, I'll give you a 50-cent raise. As soon as you can do this, as soon as you can work a day without me being here, I'll give you $1. And I went from $8.50 an hour to about maybe 12 or 13. And I thought I was like living high on the hog.
For sure.
And then when I'd been there 11 months and the vice president company asked me to apply for a management position in Colorado, and I about died. I was like, me? Went from $13.50 to $20 an hour and managed a store, opened another store. And I think that's when it kind of sparked my entrepreneurial
Yeah.
spirit kind of, and said, hey, if I work hard, people are going to pay me better
For sure.
and stuff. So
And I mean, whether you're in high school, whether you're 40 years old, whether you're 60
you
years
can
old or
say
whatever.
50 as long as you're 50.
Yeah, if you're old. But like the one thing that I'm thankful that I did that I hope I wish more people would is take the chance if you're able to. I mean, I understand people, they're like, dude, I got 4 kids. I still need to put food on the table, this and that. It's not as easy as when you did it when at the age 22 and I was living at home. And I thank my parents for, helping me through those first couple of years significantly. And, but, it's don't let your career, what you do for a living affect you because, you might have an idea, roll with it. Even if you're doing it on the weekends or doing it after hours during the week, try it out. Who knows? If I didn't do barbecue cleaning or started doing that in 2010, I might be a general manager of a resort, maybe in Park City or in Southern California and stuff like that, but hotels don't close. Yeah. So I'd be miserable.
What would your family life be?
Yeah, exactly. My family life would probably be a little bit different. So it's, if you have an idea or you want, like you're on the fence of taking that chance, if you're able to, do it. Try it out for a little while. If it doesn't work out, either try it again or, at least you could say, I tried.
Yeah. That'd be a good episode. We ought to get Rex and a few of us in here and do a Heber City Shark Tank.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'm qualified.
So
what would $20 do?
Yeah. You need how much?
Yeah.
Well, so it was pretty funny when I was at the high school job fair they had last year. This kid walked up and he's like, "You suck." I was like, all right, wait, okay, what are you talking about? He's like, "You bought my business." I was like, "I own Heaty and Air. What do you mean I bought my business?" He was talking about SuperCan.
Oh, that's awesome.
He had gone to, they have a kind of a Shark Tank type thing for the high school and stuff like that for kids to pitch ideas.
Yeah.
And I guess he had pitched the idea and was trying to get funding. And then we bought SuperCan. And he was all bummed out that we bought SuperCan. And I think I called and complained to you. And he's like, Jeremy, competition's good and stuff. So, but
absolutely. But that's a great business by itself.
It is.
Because like, I didn't grow up with a trash can in the garage where I learned here in the winter, like I'm not going to pull my trash can through snow from the side of the house. And having a SuperCan come out and clean our trash can, like I wouldn't be afraid to like eat food off of it after you guys come through and clean it. Like, and our garage smells completely different.
Yeah.
When she signed up with Andrew, when Weber's owned it, she's like, I'm gonna have her trash can clean. I says, you what? I went, no.
My wife surprised me.
And then the first time they cleaned it and I went outside and whiffed the can up, I was like, I mean, I literally stuck my head down on the can. I was like, that smells pretty dang good.
Yeah.
But I mean, and backtrack a little bit, you talked about family life. That was why Andrew sold SuperCan.
Yeah.
Because he was working his normal job his wife was running kids around. He was coming back at lunchtime, washing a few trash cans. But he says it was great when the kids were young, but now the kids are older and
For sure.
piano
Yeah.
and soccer and baseball and this and this. And I've talked to him a few times and I said, do you miss it? A few times he's like, yeah, I kind of miss it. And other times he's like, no, not really. I've told him I'd come spray some of that Fabuloso on that lavender on his porch if he
There you
missed
go.
that smell.
For sure.
And
But,
walks out and just smells it. Trash can.
But yeah, Super Can's been really good for Anna.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
there will be some new things coming down the pipe.
Absolutely.
She'll have we're gonna have a truck that
I'm
we're
excited
gonna put
for
all
that.
of her equipment on, and she's hoping to open Park City up. But that's something that 5 years ago she'd have never done. Right. I sent her on that Hawaii, her Infinite Worth trip for women,
Mhm.
and it opened her up.
That's cool.
I just think they need to slow down on the little bit of women's empowerment. It's getting a little bit more than,
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's just amazing. I mean, the community's great. You're great.
Thank you.
You're great.
Thanks, man.
I'm okay.
Ish.
Ish.
If you guys get the opportunity, go over to Osman's Heating and Air's Facebook or Instagram page. Last night we had the food bank on, and Noelle brought up the story about Jeremy giving this kid a bike after it had been burned down. I don't know if you saw it, but I posted that photo on your page for you, so everybody else can see the story. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Jeremy does this stuff all the time. He's always doing these small things that make big impacts in the community.
For sure.
And he doesn't toot his own horn, so I have to toot it for him because people need to know, like, he does incredible things for a lot of people.
Well, and I think for me, what it goes back to is we don't have kids. So, I mean, I have like 25, 26 nieces and nephews on one side and only like 6 or 7 on the other side. But, when we see people in the community, kids, they're kind of like our kids.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I would say that's why we do it, but we give back. Growing up, I saw a lot of companies give back to, us and stuff like that.
There's a long ways.
We appreciate it. I mean, as the community's good to us, we'll be as good back as the community to the community.
I love that. I'm going to roll into a sponsor really quick. We want to say thank you guys very much to No Bull Drain Cleaning. Phone numbers right there at the bottom. I'm trying to pull up my notes
Jesse
here.
and Matt Fager do an excellent job. I've used them several times. I used them here. We just moved in. My wife flushes the toilet and it just stays there. She's like, we got a problem. Matt came out, sent the choppers down, and we've not had a problem since.
So why choose No Bull Drain Cleaning? They offer over-the-phone pricing, quality service, no hidden extra fees for after-hours work or holidays. Experience the difference of service from people grateful for your business. There's your phone number, 435-395-9521. Pop back over here, and we're back. Thank you guys to No Bull for sponsoring this episode. We sure appreciate it. We are taking sponsors. If you guys would like any information about it, I'm putting our contact on the bottom of the screen now. If anybody out there's got any questions, Dustin Finderly, check out that handsome barbecue guy, he says.
Where?
Yeah.
There's a barbecue. Somebody put a barbecue in here.
All right.
If we all looked as good as Mayor Mines, dude,
Mayor Mines.
Hey, I made sure I got my front tooth fixed for tonight.
Great. I
was at the dentist this morning, and they got me back to looking somewhat decent.
Boy, my wife is going to give me heck when I get home.
All right.
Because I still don't have mine fixed.
Builds character.
We had technical difficulties. Camera was dying, so I tried to plug it in, and it just dropped
Froze
right out.
everything up.
So we are back. We're going to do community news, wrap up the podcast, make sure Andrew gets a proper send-off.
Appreciate it. Some events that I know of that are coming up. I'm probably missing a couple. So if you guys want to add them, I guess, to the comments, maybe you guys can. I know MVF Church is having a father-daughter dance December 6th, which I believe is a Friday. Don't quote me. But if that's something that you'd like to participate in, just go to the MVF website and you'll probably be able to find a ton of information there. This Saturday at the Senior Center here in town will be the disaster relief fundraiser. So I know that's very important. So if you're trying to figure out what to do this Saturday, definitely stop by there. And going back to community, you'll probably see a lot of people and a lot of people that you don't know. That gives you the opportunity to meet. The Heber tree lighting, which I personally went to last year. If you've got kids or if you don't have kids, it's a great time. That will be on December 6th as well. It's crazy how many people show up to that. And then also the Homestead out in Midway will on the 30th of November is doing their tree lighting. If you haven't been by the Homestead, definitely go by there and check it out, especially for the lighting. It's pretty neat what they do. And if don't remember, Thanksgiving is in about a week from now. So I know many restaurants are doing their
Thanksgiving
Their
menus.
Thanksgiving menus.
Yeah.
If you got a bunch of people coming over and you can't make it out to the local restaurants and doing all that, I do know Heber Valley Catering has a menu out as well for Thanksgiving.
nice.
So check that out. They're just obviously here local in town.
Have you tried any of their food yet?
I did. In fact, Lindsay, who owns it, she brought over food twice since our son was born, just as just helping us out with dinner, and unbelievable. It's impressive what they do over there. And so, don't get stressed out and freak out and think that you have to run out to the grocery store and buy everything for Thanksgiving if you haven't gotten to that point yet. Give them a call, they'll help you out.
Fantastic. Not to take away from them because I'm sure they're incredible. OG Cafe, they just recently started doing dinner as well. And they have a smoked turkey pot pie
Ooh.
with this like buttery crisp
Oh,
pastry.
sheesh.
It is incredibly good.
Are they still open?
They close it.
Can we order this?
No,
Oh,
it's past
dang
8 o'clock.
I was just there for lunch today with Mike Gardner, and
Yeah.
that place is unbelievable. Whether you go through the drive-through or you sit down and eat, you won't be disappointed.
I wonder whose arm we got to twist to get Mike on here.
I'm sure
I
it'll be
don't
pretty
think
easy.
we'd have to. We could have him do a tasting, bring several different, then we could critique the food. You guys could critique it out,
Yeah,
Steve.
for sure. His Mike's business, Hillside Haulers, it's crazy. He hasn't even been here a whole year yet. And if you want to talk about growing a business and just like the whole story around it, his is pretty neat. How fast he's gotten involved in the community with Hillside Haulers and all that. But yeah, it's fun hearing his story because he is also
we'll have to get
not a
him on.
native of Utah.
Oh,
He is from out of the state as well. So he kind of saw the same challenges as I did at some point.
So for those of you who just tuned into the second stream, our first stream, we had Andrew here talk about his adventure into getting into barbecue cleaning, moving to Heber, and we talked about various aspects of business ownership, what it's like owning a business here, what works, what doesn't, what happens, God forbid, if it doesn't work. It was a really great episode. The video is streaming right now on a couple of different platforms. The edited video will be out by tomorrow, and the audio for the podcast will be up over the weekend. For those of you following along with the Wasatch Way, this is episode 7. We've been doing this for about 3 weeks now, 4 weeks.
3 or 4 weeks.
The reception has been fantastic, and we can't say thank you guys enough for those of you who have tuned in, shared the streams, helped grow. Andrew, you're definitely one of them. Thank you guys. We want more business owners. We want more people in here to have these conversations. Food pantry was last week.
I just wanted to throw in there too. If you're still looking for, I know it'll be a little late for Thanksgiving, but for Christmas dinner, the 4-H. I mean, I mentioned it last night. The 4-H turkey sale is Tuesday, 6 p.m.
You're welcome.
You got your little gobble down there too.
All right, I got to tell you a story. We're going to go on these side tangents. I got to tell you a story. I was working for Jeremy Ostman a couple of years ago. We had a kid named Chris Sutton right in the van with us, and we were doing a furnace down in a house out in Daniel area, and it was fall. All these turkeys.
Was it the Stormhaven one? Was it Larson's?
I don't remember.
I don't even remember where it was at.
We weren't doing the furnace. They had a thermostat issue, but I'm not going to bore you guys with the details of it. As we're walking to the van, all these turkeys pass by the road. And he goes, John, I bet you didn't know this. I was like, what? He's like, I do the best turkey call in all of Heber. And I'm like, bullshit. Let's see it. He goes, you ready? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, here, turkey, turkey, turkey. I about died on the side of the road laughing. All right, sorry for the side
Yeah,
tangent.
so Tuesday, 6 o'clock at the Wasatch Event Center. The 4-H and the FFA 4-H, they raise turkeys
Okay.
all year and they auction them off. And you can get them fresh, or you brine them yourself, smoke them, cook them, do whatever you want. And it's also for a little bit extra, they'll smoke them.
Oh,
And I want to say it was like 15 or 25 bucks.
Wow.
And I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
smoke them.
nice.
Smoke them. We actually pulled a few weeks ago, I was sick. Anna pulled what she thought was some chicken out of the freezer.
Yeah.
And it was actually the
The
last
smoked
of our
turkey.
smoked turkey
Ooh,
from
that's
last
so
year.
cool.
So it's a good event. Good to, support the kids, support again the community that we talk about so much. So I think that's about it.
More community news. Last night we tried to stream the Wasatch County Council meeting. There was an important meeting discussing the development of downtown, the CRA.
The CRA.
And
tax.
just to update you, the video is still available if you follow the link I gave you last night. Go to the Wasatch Way Facebook page. I posted it there. To update you, it was a tie vote, 3-3 with one abstaining. And the tiebreaker vote will be coming in soon from the next council member.
Yeah.
So
They're going to kind of table it till the first of next year, from what I understood. They're going to table it till the first of next year and try to do it. And I'm hoping. I've talked to a few people. I talked to Rachel earlier today and said I'd like to get her on the podcast because I'm not really good with numbers.
right.
And I told her she needs to dumb it down.
So, and if you're curious what the CRA is, there is a Envision Hebrew website, and there's a whole, it's not propaganda. What am I looking for? Like a brochure about everything about CRA.
Yeah.
And we also shared on the Wasatch Way on Facebook, Tori Broughton. She did a little 1-minute breakdown of what the CRA is and what to expect from it. So do some research, check into it. Sounds like they're in the process of deciding whether or not to do it now. The other thing is, I did not know that the Wasatch County had a X account, a Twitter account. X.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Okay,
And I
cool.
hopped on there today. Thought that was pretty cool. And they have released the entire budget for next year for the Wasatch County. And they're going to have public hearing on their full budget on December 4th. Hop onto the Twitter, find that nice little PDF that you can download and go through. And the amount of money they spend in various aspects, I'm not saying what's good or bad. I'm just saying it's crazy.
I was when we were listening a little bit to the CRA meeting last night, and they were
Yes.
talking about a guy from Vernal came in. They were talking about their budgets. I about died. I didn't think it that much to run a city,
Yeah.
but it does.
It's wild.
It was over
That's what I-
100 million for
Yeah.
the whole year.
Yeah.
That's crazy when you think about that. Awesome. We are probably be wrapping up the show. Go to either the Ostman Heating in our Facebook page, Tim Top local marketing page, the Wasatch Way, and you should be able to get the restream from Andrew's interview here. Fantastic interview. We
Yes,
thoroughly
appreciate
enjoyed it. Anything you want to say on the way out?
One thing I was just thinking, and I have to remind myself about it a lot, is before, especially with the holidays coming up, we're all shopping, think local. I know how easy, I'm guilty of it a lot of times too,
Yes.
to hop on Amazon or
That's
hop on a
quick, easy one.
website when I know for a fact I can get that same product here in town. And you're helping a family, you're helping a business owner. Like we see it all the time on Facebook. You're helping that mom and dad put their kid through the sport they play or ballet or stuff like that. So think local this holiday season when you're buying gifts. And another thing is if we went through just a few things coming up throughout the community, I personally have neighbors that don't have Facebook, don't have social media, so they only know of things that are coming up if I literally tell them. So if you know your neighbors or friends aren't on social media, next time you talk to them, let them know about the current events in town because Christmas only comes around once a year. Tree lightings are only once a year.
Yeah.
So get out there and enjoy it while we can.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much, dude. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for joining us. This was so
Appreciate
much
it.
fun. We got to have
Thank
you
you.
back later.
Absolutely.
We're talking about having some roundtables with some different business owners coming up. I wouldn't say it's a mastermind. I wouldn't say it's a Shark Tank. It's probably more like an idea puddle.
A general BS
That'll be
session.
fun.
Yeah, but just discuss and support each other. And if you're interested in doing that, if you're a business owner, want to join us at a roundtable, please let us know.
Or if you want to just join us on the podcast, you have an interesting story. You moved here from far away. I think right now, Noelle, last night is,
Yeah.
I mean, she's one of the few people, but she grew up in Nigeria.
Well, yeah, that's
So
great.
she
A little
made-
further than where I'm
She
from.
she said I had to swim a few oceans to get here. So,
She was funny.
She was funny. She's really good. We
Spitfire.
work with Noelle at the food bank quite a bit and stuff. So, but if you want to join us, you have an interesting story. You can share about John. Maybe I need to get Mom and Dad Bliss on here. That'd
Oh,
be a good
wow.
one. We can share some stories.
That might break the internet like the last weekend's fight.
I think you forget how easy access I have to your dad too. So. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're good. Thanks for watching.
Okay. Love you guys.